Fala comigo, torcedor do Lance. Estamos aqui com nada mais, nada menos que Flex Lewis, 7 vezes Mr. Olympia na categoria 212. Nunca foi derrotado. Hoje ele é um grande amigo e mentor do nosso ídolo Rafael Brandao, da categoria Open, e vai estar falando aqui com o Lance, uma entrevista exclusiva pra gente. Flex, it's a huge honor to be talking to you, man. And I'd just like to thank you, man, for the opportunity and for all you've done for this sport, man. I'm a big fan. And I have to say, for us, at first you were a nightmare when you beat Eduardo Correia, but now, since you're with Rafael, you're our godfather, man.
Well, I had to redeem myself with the Brazilian fans, you know. Obviously, that battle with Eduardo Correia, who is also a dear friend of mine, was probably one of the fiercest and most difficult competitors that I had to stand against. So again, I had to find somebody in Brazil to make sure that the Brazilian fans love me again. So I truly appreciate it. As you know, I have so much love for Brazil, and thank you very much for this opportunity to jump on and speak to you.
You're one of us, man. You're now one of us.
Thank you.
So, at first, I want to talk to you about Arnold, Ohio. I know we competed there in 2014, but I want to talk to you a little bit about what Brazilians showed there. In the past Olympias, we saw Diogo Montenegro fighting for top 3. We saw Ramon really fighting with Chris Bumstead for the title. And we had Rafael for the first time in the top 10 Olympia. We had the girls that already dominate in the Olympia. But I think, in my opinion, I'm saying that in my opinion, and I want to hear, this Arnold Classic Ohio really showed a point that Brazilian chaos is right now. It's happening right now. We had an all top 3 men's physique. We have the 2 wellness dominating again, Franciele and Isa. We had Rafael fighting with the big guys and getting this top 3. And we had Ramon again in the top 2 with Wesley Vissers. What do you think about it? Is Brazil now a real threat in bodybuilding?
I've been saying this for a very long time, that Brazil is going to be one of the nations that truly is going to be flying the flag in every competition that any athlete from Brazil stands on that stage for. Obviously, we're speaking about the 2 big shows, which are going to be the Arnold Classic and Brazil. But in this case, Arnold Classic. Anytime you see athletes, the team Brazil leaving, whatever part of Brazil, heading to Ohio, I know that there's going to be definitely athletes in that top 3. But if you notice, in the last 5 years, how many categories now are filled with Brazilian athletes in the top 3? Regardless, obviously wellness is a class that Brazilians dominate. Genetics, the legs, everything. Let's just say, the in that class are incredible representatives. I've got to know the champ very well. She's been to my gym. And again, what an incredible athlete, but also a massive representative of the female category in wellness. Now, if we're looking at the men's category, Rafael Brandao, I've been saying to Rafa that keep his lines, keep his structure, keep what God's given you, and that is going to be your strength. Don't play to other people's strengths, that's theirs. Keep the symmetry, keep the aesthetics, and anytime you step on stage, you are going to be a force because nobody can touch him in that category. And obviously Ramon, we all know that Ramon entered that Arnold Classic with little preparation or not as much preparation as he would have liked. And I think that is going to be the biggest lesson of his life. The next time we see Ramon step on stage, if this is anything like how I think, he is going to cause damage on that stage because he doesn't face, defeat with anything but a learning lesson. And I think that everybody thought Ramon was going to be an instant winner in Arnold Classic Ohio. But I think that's put a fire up his butt, the saying is, to create this new level of Ramon that nobody's ever seen before. The genetics that guy has, as I've said, he's kind of replaced me as the forearm champion.
Yes, I had a question for you just like that. You were also known for your good genetics, your round muscle bellies, your density, your lines. And you said it that Ramon, and it's public now that he had only 6 weeks of prep, and it's a very short prep for the Arnold Classic Ohio. So what advice would you give him, being a guy that also had this impact in genetics, to not trust only his genetics, but still work hard besides it?
Absolutely. So work ethic and genetics is a lethal combo. You know, we've all seen these athletes in different sports who have the genetics that can get them to that level. But then what is that next level? That next level is legacy. And when you accompany work ethic and genetics together, that legacy is in your hands. And Ramon obviously has mentioned that he only had a very, very short preparation. But again, my coach would never throw me into a 6-week prep. We want to make sure that we're ready 2 weeks out from the show, that we don't have to do anything crazy. So I'm sure that Ramon, not only having a short preparation, but looking at himself in the mirror and knowing that he shouldn't be where he wants to be a couple of weeks out, just puts that extra and added stress. And you know, as every athlete knows, you need to be in what I would say complete focus, but also in a place of rest and relaxation when you're not needed in the gym. But if you're looking at yourself when you're not in the gym and you're not where you need to be, then you're also adding that extra screw in your head that maybe I'm not going to look what I look like, and then that actually affects your physique too. So you've got to be completely calm and completely controlled. But as I said earlier, you know, this is probably going to be the worst and the best thing that ever happened to Ramon.
The bottom spots are the one that pumps you up, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, let's just take my 202 days when I got beaten by Kevin English. Obviously, the fans thought that I should have won that year, but I didn't. I didn't mourn. I didn't go on any type of media outlet and say I should have won. What I done was get back into the gym, and I worked and I worked and I worked. And that was the last time I was ever defeated. As long as you have... So what I've been able to do over the years, I've created a team around me. And Neil Hill, my coach of 20 years, also is Rafael Brandao's now coach. He's one of them guys that, regardless of all the trophies we have, he still talks to me like I was that 19-year-old kid. And he's the only guy in my life that I allow that to happen. But he's a coach. He's not a cheerleader. So as long as Ramon has got people around him that tell him what he doesn't want to hear when he needs to hear it, that's when you're going to see the best version of Ramon.
That's true. I don't know if you know, but Neil had a little talk with Felipe Franco. He wanted him to prepare for the Olympia. And then he said, no, you don't have enough time. I'm not going to do that. Neil is just like that,
That sounds like
right?
coach. That sounds like... No, you think about it. Any other coach would have been, let's do this. It's going to be good. Let's be honest. It's going to be good for me, the coach.
Yeah, it's Felipe Franco. Felipe Franco has one of the amazing lines, the greatest lines in men's physique.
But Coach Neil Hill is all about producing the best version of the athlete. So he probably looked at Felipe Franco and said, hey, listen, we could get you on that stage this year, or we could get you on a stage next year, and you're going to blow everybody's minds. So what version do you want to see? Do you want to diet just to become a little bit better than the last time everybody's seen you, or a lot better?
Yeah.
And we all know the answer. And Coach Hill is all about making sure that anytime he preps with an athlete, that he's able to use them for the off season and then full time for full preparation to get them in incredible shape. And that's why Rafa didn't stand on stage prior to this year's Arnold Classic. He wanted a good preparation with Coach, along with a good diet as well going into this year's show. And obviously the proof is in the pudding, because he looked incredible.
A really big impact. So we were talking about Ramon and this result in Arnold Classic Ohio. Do you really think that Wesley Vissers deserved that victory?
Here's the thing with Wesley. He's always impressed me with his physique. He's definitely got one of them apples and oranges physiques. You know, he definitely stands out from the crowd. He's got very kind of gravitating look. He's kind of cut from the old school. He reminds me of a little bit of Arnold, a little bit of Lou Ferrigno, more Lou Ferrigno, I would say. But he's very impressive. Again, conditioning is always something that's going to draw my eye, and he just nailed it on the day. See, he worked very hard for it. But I truly say this again to the end of my day. It was Ramon's show to lose. And unfortunately, down to his lack of preparation or the time he didn't have for preparation, he found himself being beaten by somebody that he's beaten many times before. So that's no knock on Wesley, because Wesley, again, is an incredible athlete. But when you're talking about the percentages in this sport, if you allow yourself to not come in, you know, your off is somebody's on.
Yeah.
And when you're known for being in condition and having a certain look like Ramon was bringing to the Olympia last year, to turn up at the Arnold Classic not quite his best, allowed that door to be open for Wesley. And again, I just love seeing competition. And I'll go back to what I said earlier too. This is only going to be the best thing that happened to Ramon now, because he's now not going to settle on any other option, but to focus on this next show that he ever steps foot on, whenever he steps foot on. And we all know his genetic potential. But again, not to go off the point and talking about Wesley, you know, it just adds more ticket value to this year's Mr. Olympia.
Yes.
You've now got somebody who was not even in the chat. It was always Ramon versus Bumstead.
And now Wesley's a real contender, right?
And now Wesley's a real contender. And as we have the Arnold Classic UK this weekend going on, there's actually a whole new show that's going on. So will Wesley defend his Arnold Classic Ohio title in the Arnold Classic UK? We don't know. I was able to see some pre-judging photos, and they're judging these guys. You know, they're turning them around and they're moving them around. So
Urs changed a little bit of his posing. He's posing from the front. Urs.
Yeah, oh, really. That's right, Urs. Yeah, so Urs is a contender. Great guy, very likable. Again, I know the Brazilian fans love Urs too. But he's somebody that has creeped up the ladder. He's always been in that top 5 mix. Then he's been in the top 3 mix. So we can't count out any of these guys. Of course, you know, selfishly, I'm going to, you know, support Ramon. I can say that on the Brazilian channel. But what we all want as fans of the sport, is to see competition. You know, I love Bumstead, but I also love to see him pushed. I love to see competition. And most people, if you look at my Olympia run, you know, every year there was a new guy that was coming to beat me, right? And that's why I had to make sure
coming to beat you.
Well, I suppose. You know what I mean. But anyways, it's competition, right? We want to see the best athletes in the world from all over the world, from Urs in Germany to where Wesley's from. I'm not too sure where Wesley's from. I know in Europe somewhere.
He's from Netherlands.
Netherlands, that's right, thank you. And then Ramon in Brazil, and every other athlete that is on that stage. It's an international federation, and that's what we want. We want people from all over the world to fly their flags and be the best on that day. And that's the most exciting thing about these shows, is anybody can win if you don't bring your A game.
And everybody has their different strengths. Like Wesley has his big arms and his amazing separation. Ramon has the great lines, the round shape. Chris Bumstead is just incredibly wide. Urs has his incredible legs. So the guys are different. And one guy that is different, and you said it's different, it's Rafael Brandao. Talking about Rafael, how did it make you feel seeing your boy up there fighting with the big guys, Samson Dowder, Hadi Chopin? Did you think he was far away from these guys?
I'm a very realistic person. This is bodybuilding, right? And what I've said to Rafa from the very moment that I met him, I said, Rafa, you could win the Arnold Classic if you don't jeopardize your lines, if you don't ruin the physique that God's given you, and you slowly put on the pounds in the right areas and the kilos in the right areas, you are going to become a real force, whatever stage you stand on. But I truly believe Rafa is going to win the Arnold Classic. And I say this on Brazil channel, I'll say this on the US channel, I'll say it everywhere around the world, that I truly believe in Rafa because I know what he's dedicated to this sport. The kid lived with me for nearly 1.5 years, right? I seen him every day putting in the work. Not only putting in the work, but you have to remember too, for all the Brazilian fans that are listening to this, Rafa came to the United States to train with me every single day and can only speak about 3 or 4 English words. Yes, no, and I can't say the other two because this red but it begins with an F. So he knew these words, and normally when I'd push him through the hard, he turned to me and say, flex. And then what I will say this for all the Brazilian viewers, this kid, that's why I love him to death. I call him my little brother, and he's truly my little brother. He started taking not only the parameters of my teachings of training to his head, but he also started learning English. He hired an English teacher. He started having English once a week, twice a week, and then 4 times a week, so he could not only speak and communicate with myself in the gym, but also he wanted to test himself and get on American podcasts so he could actually start doing interviews as well. So when I tell you, Brazil, that this kid is special, he's not only special physically, but he's also special mentally, because he is a true student of the game. He truly wants to learn. He wants to give back. And he also has an incredible business mentality as well. So when I say that Rafa is special, I mean it because he's special across the board, not just what he looks like on stage, but I truly, as I said, will believe that Rafa can win the Arnold Classic, and it's going to take probably about a year and a half to fill up that frame. I went into the show, and obviously I didn't say this to Rafa, but I said to coach, I said, if Rafa comes third, that is a win. Because you got Samson and you got Hardy, who are both guys that Hardy obviously has won the Mr. Olympia. Samson was knocking the door to potentially winning the Olympia. So there's a slight difference in levels right there. And all that requires is time, patience, and dedication to bodybuilding. And he'll fill out that frame. And when he does, nobody's got his lines.
Yeah, but besides adding more frame, like more muscle and muscle maturity, what specific details in Rafael's physique do you think he's missing?
So we worked very, very hard when we trained together to bring up his back. So if there's ever any old photos of when the time he started training with me a year and a half ago to the time he left, we really focused on that back development and also details that would come out once he diets down. From certain areas, he needs to fill out his legs a little bit, like adductors, to give that more crazy look. Because when you're standing next to Hardy, and Hardy has them crazy quads from the front, that is a muscle group that needs to come up a little bit. More hamstring. And nobody talks about calves, right? The judges don't judge calves, so don't worry about calves. But I made him train calves. So again, listen, all he needs to do is just fill out his frame. And I'm trying to be very selective of what I say here, because if you look at his physique, it's very complete.
Yeah.
He's not really missing any body parts. You know, you look at some of the best, you could say, okay, well, he had incredible shoulders, but he had a shallow chest. You know, every bodybuilder needs to make improvements, but outside of that, he doesn't have any glaring body parts that are not there. You know, some people just don't have hamstrings. No matter what they try to do to train, they just will never have that crazy hamstring. He's just going to need that time to fill out that frame. So truly, my answer is just certain areas need to come up, but nothing that's major.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Tyler Mannion said that he stands out because he does not have a pose. He does not have a single pose that blows him off. He doesn't. Oh, his back double is not that good. His back expansion is not that. No, he doesn't have it. Rafael's like really balanced in every pose, and he has that front double that is just amazing.
Yeah, he's so complete. He's just, again, truly just tapping his early potential, you know. And what's been amazing for me from a fan of the sport of bodybuilding, and to also now see the rise as his friend, is the support that he has from Brazil. You know, there's been obviously a lot of hope and pressure that's been put on Rafa to deliver. And I know that him taking some time off, or more time that he wanted to have off, a lot of people may have lost faith. You know, when people disappear for a year and a half, you know, a lot of people then will start finding excuses to pull somebody down, or they're not going to come back. Why did he take so much time off? But I think that as much as support that Rafa has, the ones that didn't believe now believe, because that time off was needed. And as you can see by the response of what this kid looked like at the Arnold Classic Ohio, everybody now is back on the Rafael Brandao train. The ones that left are jumping back on.
Yeah, and it's a really big accomplishment being a top 3 in Arnold Classic Ohio. It's a really big show, and you've won it in 2014. I want to ask you, is it really different, the Arnold Classic Ohio? How would you compare with your 7 titles at the Olympia?
Well, my Arnold Classic win is just as important and special for me as the Olympia. And obviously, the Olympia is the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, but the Arnold Classic is just as prestigious. It's the iconic Arnold Schwarzenegger that has put the show on. You know, obviously, I got to meet Arnold and you know, get to be part of all the festivities when you win. But there's a difference in that show compared to Olympia. It seems like there's more, and I have to pick my words here because I don't want to sound bad compared to Olympia, but let's just say it's a completely different show.
It's more glamorous,
it just
right?
feels, I would say, because there's a lot of other sports there. It's not just bodybuilding, but bodybuilding is the #1 sport. So you have all these hundreds of sports, but it all comes down to bodybuilding being top of the tree, and there's no other convention, expo, festival that has bodybuilding at the top of everything, and that supersedes all these other sports that are at the Olympic Games and everything else. So for Arnold to keep bodybuilding at the top of that expo weekend is incredible. But how does it compare to Mr. Olympia? Again, it has its own place in my heart, and it's a very unique show. The only difference, for the reason why I only done it once, is because it would truly hurt my preparation for the Mr. Olympia. Some people can peak twice a year. I was able to peak at the Mr. Olympia, but then I got better after the Mr. Olympia when I went on the road for all the Grand Prix around the world, Asia, Czech Republic. So once I'd done the Olympia, I felt the bag was off my back and the stress. And it just goes back to what I said about Ramon, right? That stress was massive for me, that I didn't see the best version of myself at the Olympia until maybe a week or 2 after, when I felt,
relaxed.
I won the big show, but now I have to focus on the other shows. And but the Arnold Classic, because it was in March and the Olympia was in September, I had to make a choice of focusing on one or the other. And some people, like I said, can prep for 2 big shows a year. I just took it from the business standpoint to just focus on that one show a year and give it my all. But looking back, I would like to probably compete a little bit more in the Arnold Classic. But obviously, it's now woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? You know. But I can live vicariously now through Rafael Brandao. So
you had the wage limit. It's a whole different thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. It was difficult, and they only done the 212 for a couple of years, and then they pulled it. So that's another excuse of why I didn't do the Arnold Classic too.
Yeah, but I would enjoy seeing you in the open division.
I think everybody would have. It was. I came so close. Oh, so close. And I wish I filmed, and I wish I took more photos of what I looked like at 260. I was one of them guys that was so big and lean that I hid away. It was kind of like Dorian Yates.
Wait, you said 260?
260.
260 pounds? That's crazy, man.
260 pounds. Yeah, I've got photos in my phone when I was at 250, and I was able to put on another like 10 pounds. It was like high 250s, 260, you know, depending on the day, or the high carb day. But it was a lot of weight for somebody that's 5'6". But it was fun being that weight, and it was also suck too. I was so strong, but also again, to fuel that beast, it came with a lot of, again, just a lot of commitment.
You pay the price, right?
In itself. Yeah, food in itself, eating, 10 ounces of meats every 2 hours and 8 meals a day, and it's a job.
Yeah.
And yeah, but again, it's just how much you want it. So, and I was prepared for everything, and unfortunately, I was never able to hit the stage because of all the gut issues that I had. But I know I tried, and I give it my all, and I can say that I honestly felt God was testing me to push me through a lot of these hard times. But I realized soon enough, as soon as I said or thought retirement, which I've never done in my whole life, all the injuries, all the problems, I never thought about retirement once. But as soon as that popped into my head, I knew it was a sign from the big man. And as soon as I said retirement, all these new opportunities opened. So I felt that I stayed in long enough to know that I'd done everything in my power, but then God just was waiting for me with other doors for me to fulfill in my life. And here I am now, doing much more crazier things outside of the sport of bodybuilding.
That's really nice to hear, man. And with your Olympia titles, which one is your most special one? Please say it was the one you beat Eduardo Correia.
Most definitely, no, I can't say that. People be turning off right now. I would say my favorite, it's going to be, I'll say three of the seven, and I'll tell you which ones. It was the first one to prove to myself on all the times that I thought about going home, all the times that I thought about not giving up, but thinking, is this going to work? I knew it was. And that was just prove to myself that everything that I endured, everything that I dreamed about came true. And then the other one was number two, because there was two previous champions missing at that time, David Henry and Kevin English. And both of them athletes were missing from the first. So everyone was saying, oh, Flex, you only won because they weren't
They
there.
weren't there, right?
So I wanted to win and defend and also beat the two previous 202 champions that were missing that year. And then the last is the last, where I was able to go out on my own terms, tell the world that this is going to be my last Mr. Olympia, and do it my way, and probably bring one of the best conditions that I brought to the stage in the 7 years that I stood on it. So I can't really identify one over all them three, because everyone is sinful and everyone has a purpose, and everything has a beautiful story. So, there's struggles, there's self-belief, there's doubt, all wrapped up in all them 7 wins, and everyone, like I said, has a story, but them 3 in particular all stand out.
With all these titles, I still have to say you had one missing in your resume. Can you guess it?
Open class Mr. Olympia?
No. Even better, Arnold Classic Brasil.
Oh, well, that was my second choice. I know. I would have loved to compete, regardless, anywhere in Brazil, even if it was, a show in the middle of São Paulo. You guys are absolutely crazy. I love the fans. I've been to Brazil twice, and every time I've been to Brazil, it just, the bar keeps on going up. I mean, I've never been received at an airport with fans like I have in Brazil, where people are holding boards saying, Flex, please stop. It is amazing. So I couldn't imagine what the energy and atmosphere would be like if I was able to compete in Brazil. But yes, I missed that board. But I'm not coming out to retirement to compete in Brazil.
Don't worry.
On stage.
Don't worry. Rafael is going to bring this title for you.
Absolutely, he definitely is, and let's put that pressure on him too.
So I will say something to our followers now. Você, seguidor do Lance, está sabendo agora. O Lance estará presente no Arnold Classic Brasil em loco, em São Paulo, acompanhando tudo. Rafael Brandão e os grandes atletas brasileiros, e é uma das maiores competições de fisiculturismo do mundo. Por isso, fica ligado nas redes sociais do Lance e no site do Lance, que você não vai perder nada do Arnold Classic Brasil. So, Flex, I just said to our fans that we are going to be in Arnold Classic Brasil. Here, Lance, do you have an announcement for us?
that I'm coming to Arnold Classic Brazil.
That's a big announcement.
No, I'm very excited, and again, I truly appreciate the opportunity to break that news on Lance. There's a lot of people that have been asking if I'm coming back, when I'm coming back, and I can finally announce that I am coming to see the beautiful country of Brazil again and support my little brother Rafael Brandao on that Arnold Classic Brazil stage. So I truly appreciate all the fans. Again, you guys are second to no one. Such passion, such incredible support, not for only me, but all your athletes. So it's amazing to see a country get behind bodybuilding the way Brazil has got behind bodybuilding, and it's only going to continue to grow. So I'm just blessed to be a small part in, bringing some energy to the Arnold Classic Brazil. But yes, Lance, it's official.
Flex and Lance together at Arnold Classic Brasil.
Oh, dangerous.
Dangerous combination. Now, Flex, I'm going to ask quick questions for you. You have to answer right away. Okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
to finish our interview. So first, your best physique ever?
2015.
Your biggest rival in your career?
Eduardo Correa.
Thank you for that. Your biggest idol in bodybuilding?
Lee Priest.
I really like him too. Crazy physique, amazing lines, amazing round muscle belly. He's just insane.
Lee's crazy, but I used to watch his VHS videos when I was a kid every single day, 5 times a day, back to back to back. So I could say Arnold, I could say Tom Platz, who's also a massive idol of mine, but it was Lee Priest that, being that short and freaky, was the guy that kind of got me into it.
Favorite exercise?
The ones that I hate, anything chest.
Leg day or chest day?
Oh, leg day.
Your PR in leg press?
Oh, ask Rafa. All the plates in the gym, let's stack them up and put Rafa on top. How about that?
That's good. Now, favorite cheat meal?
Ooh, I would say sushi.
Sushi, right. Now, your next classic physique Olympia?
My next classic physique Olympia?
Who's going to win the title? Ramon. This year's Ramon's got the title of the Olympia. Next, 2 and 2 Olympia.
It's going to be tough. Ooh, good question. That is a tough one. I think Sean Clarita is hungry to get that title back.
What about Keon?
Keon is going to have it. Keon is going. Oh damn! Listen, let me start this all over again. It's going to be tough for both. Keon and Sean, friends with both. Keon trains in my gym. I'm going to stay neutral, actually. Let me stay neutral. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, next Open Olympia. Next Open Olympia now.
Ooh. I think it's going to be Derek again.
Yeah, he's outstanding too, right?
Yeah.
And to finish, your greatest of all time?
Greatest of all time. It's got to be King Coleman, Ronnie Coleman, in bodybuilding. There's nobody ever going to be another Ronnie Coleman, and suffice to say, the reason why I say Ronnie Coleman is the guy is an absolute humble legend. To me, when I say greatest of all time, it's a combination of not what you've done on stage,
but off stage,
but how you act also on stage. And to be the greatest, you can't call yourself the greatest. You have to have the fans call you the greatest. Ronnie's greatest at anything but being Ronnie Coleman. All the fans say Ronnie Coleman's the greatest, including myself. Legend.
So that's it, Flex. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the chat. It was amazing. It was amazing to get to know you better. And I'm really looking forward to meet you here in Brazil, Arnold Classic Brasil in São Paulo, right?
Absolutely. I'm very excited to get to shake the hand in person, as opposed to doing it from Brazil to USA, Las Vegas. But thank you again for the opportunity. It's great to see you guys now getting into the sport of bodybuilding. This is a true opportunity for all athletes. And you've got some incredible athletes, like I said, in Brazil that will fly the flag for Brazil all around the world, on stage and off. For me, I look at athletes at the top, and if you're able to balance a number of different things, how you're able to balance life, your ability to be humble, driven, and also still find the better version of yourself to get back on that stage every single year, that is a true champion. So regardless of trophies, you have so many great athletes and champions to be coming out to Brazil. I, for one, am very excited to now be sitting in the audience cheering all these young athletes who are aspiring. And also, think about this. It's the ones that are now getting exposed to the sport for the first time.
Yeah.
And looking at the likes of Ramon, Brandao, and all the girls that are thinking, wow, I'd love to get into this. That's the scary and most exciting part about how young entry Brazil is into bodybuilding.
True.
It's all the new future that's going to come through. And because you have such great representatives in Brazil doing their job, the future is not only exciting, but scary for all the other athletes around the world to stand against these future athletes. So from me to you guys, I truly appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing you all in Brazil. Come and say hi, come and shake my hand. And if you can't speak English, it doesn't matter. It's the universal language of hugs, handshakes, and high fives. So,
That's it.
again, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, man.